Today I'm going to show you how to go from a blank screen to a full design using other people's designs, but without plagiarizing. Yeah, let's get started. The process of design starts with brainstorming, and I guess I want to come at this from the aspect of somebody who is a designer for a company versus you designing something like 100% original and you're doing it for a client. So this is not a client. This is not something that I would do for a client, but this is more so something that I would do for a job. So lab week is coming up, and if I'm working this for a job and not for a client, I'm going to look at inspiration online. Now, some people will just straight up copy and paste some of this stuff, but we're not going to do that. Instead, what we're going to do is look at this for inspiration, which is part of research, which is the next step in the process of design. So first there's brainstorming, then there's research. The third step will be to actually start sketching things out. But because we're doing this for a job that doesn't pay you enough, then what we would do is instead of sketching, we'll just kind of use this part of the research to kind of combine some ideas together. And something that I'm looking at that I like, I kind of like the text on this, and I may use that. Something else that stood out to me was, okay, there it is. I think, yeah, that's it. So I'm going to kind of combine those two in my own way. I have something in mind. Now, I could sketch this out on paper, sketch out what I have in mind on paper, but for the sake of this being for a job and not for a client, then I'm not going to do that. So since this is like we're pretending that this is more so for a 9 to 5. But anyway, but let's say if we're just trying to save time and we're doing this from scratch. So first thing, just go ahead and type lab, duplicate that. Only thing I did was select it, held down the Alt key or Option key on a Mac and just drag it over. Okay, double click this, spell out week. Now this is not going to be the font that I use, but we can go ahead and still kind of put it in place, get an idea. Do we want to use contrast and have big lab, little weak? Or do we want to kind of keep them the same, have some kind of balance? We'll figure it all out later, especially once I find out what font I'm going to use, because I don't even have that in mind right now. So when I say I'm starting from scratch, you're about to see the full process. So I went to Adobe Stock and I found some images, found a bunch of icons that I can use. When I chose these, I'm going to either choose one or the other to stick with. What I might do, since these two, not those, this one and this one looks like it's been done by the same artist, then I'm probably going to pull from both of those to kind of go for that feel that I was talking about earlier, that had all the lab stuff, this one right here. So I might go for something like that, but my idea is to have the text in the middle and then have a bunch of the science equipment and icons on the outside of the text. So that's pretty much it. But also I wanted to also play in what I saw with the other text. It's right here. So I'm going to do that little effect, and let's find a fun font. kind of like that. I'll keep this on the side to, yeah, that's a runner, just in case I don't find anything I like, or something that, if I don't find anything I love, then I'll go back to this one. Didn't find any that I really liked, so I'm just gonna go with this one. And what we can do is actually going to be really simple. We're just going to take the text, make it into a stroke. I think I have, yeah, let's put some space between those letters. Let's bring the stroke down just a little bit. And then we're going to copy this text, copy, then we're going to paste in place, and we're going to swap this out. So now we have this. Let's just make it a random color for now, and I'll change that color later. Now I'm going to take this text and send it to the back, and there we have it. Oops. Let's grab the right one. There we go. All right, so we have this so far. So let's go to some of these icons. This is a must. Let's look at some other stuff. That is a must. So I'm just kind of selecting them, holding down the shift key as I select them. Some of this stuff is going over my head because I'm not a scientist and I don't really know what it takes to be one. So but I'm just gonna go with the things that I kind of know. So let's still holding down that shift key and just kind of looking at different icons. Yeah, like I said before, some of it is going over my head because I'm not familiar with what it takes or what some of this stuff means. Like for instance, I'm just guessing that this is some kind of chart. This, some kind of a bacteria maybe, I don't know. What else? I saw another one of those things, yeah. Grab both of those. That, and grab a couple of stars and random things to kind of just put in there as fillers. Ooh. Alright, so if this happens, what you want to do is just take that, delete it. Alright, so now, just to kind of keep everything scaled the same way it was when I brought it in, I'm going to attempt to scale everything at the same time so everything can stay in the same proportion that it was when I first brought it in. So I don't want one thing to be bigger in comparison than it was to the next thing as I brought it in. Alright, so now I can go in and just start moving this stuff around. Also, what I want to do is with this color, I'm going to actually change that to that exact color, and I'm going to change this green to this, no, blue. Oops, there we go. And I might want to do this instead. Let's see, I kind of like the orange. Yeah, then we can have some complementary style colors going on. And now all we have to do is start placing this stuff around my text. Actually, I think I'm gonna put the week of down here. Oops. And if I really want to get a little fancy, I can start rotating some of this stuff, give it a little bit more flavor, just a little bit. So, and it's not long before I have something that already doesn't look bad at all. So let's just grab this. And when you're working for a company, most of the time, and I say this, well, let's say it like this: if you're working as an employee, most of the time your boss doesn't really care how the graphic comes, doesn't care that you didn't create everything from scratch. Most of the time they just care about the results. One, is it going to do the job that it's supposed to do? Is it communicating what it needs to communicate? Does it look nice? And that's pretty much the point. And I think that we have pretty much accomplished that. So let's think we can go with that. All right, so now I'm going to do the last little thing. And I'm going to add, right there, I'm going to add some text with the dates, and I'll just slap it down there, and that'll be it. So one thing that we could always do to enhance a piece of work is consider like the background, or consider some kind of a texture. In this case, I would say less is more. And I might end up leaving it blank. But if I did not leave it blank, what I probably would do is go with some kind of a very faint gradient. And this right here is not a faint gradient. This is really bad. So let's change it up a little bit. Let's grab that color, remove this, bring this all the way down, and then alright, so we could do it like that, where it's just slightly some color. Now what I'm also going to do is go ahead and grab these three colors. So I'm going to grab that color and drag it in, grab this color, select it, drag it in my swatches, and drag it in. Alright, so now what I could do is test out which color may look better. Let's say if I put the blue down here and gave it just a little oomph. But if I did use that blue, then I might want to change this to that. No, I still like it. Alright, so let's see what it would look like if I use the yellow. it's not bad either. Gives it more of a warm feeling. And let's make it even warmer. I don't like this. I don't like that at all. The blue to me kind of makes it feel more lab-like. So I'm just going to make it a lighter blue and go with that. And like I was saying before, in this case, I believe less is more, which is one of the principles. Well, it's not a principle of design, but it's kind of a theory. So let's go with this, and let's rotate that a little bit. Oops. Let's lock this layer now that I'm happy with that. And even though it's not like a traditional texture, it still gives it an extra, a little oomph. That's it. And we can put the date here, and then I'll end up putting that date right down here, and that'll be it. So there you have it. I hope this helps in your process of creating graphics for matter of fact, before we go, I'll give you one more thing. So let's say I have this finished. We're just going to pretend that this is finished. And if it was finished, what I would do is create a separate artboard by going here, then I click the plus button. So now I have a different artboard. This artboard, I want to make it 1080 by 1080 because this one will be for social media. And there I have that. And I would just basically copy everything here, including my background. And I'll just drag it over. And the easiest way to do it right now is just to kind of squeeze everything in, or squeeze as much in as possible, and then even allow some of the stuff to be cut off. But you don't have to allow that stuff to be cut off. You can actually work it in just by moving some things around. And just, now will that make the graphic slightly different? Yes, but you know, like I said before, you don't have to do that. You can do it just by doing it like this and just leaving it alone like that. So now I have a graphic for both a digital display and something that I could use for Instagram or for some social media platform. And the same would go if I wanted to do another one that would be posted as like a reel, like a Instagram reel or whatever. I can still do the same thing with another artboard and have it all in one file. And that's it. So I hope this helps, and I hope you guys have a great day. See you later. Hey, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this in any way, make sure you like and subscribe, turn on the notifications, and even check out our Patreon. Links below. Much love to you. See you next time.